Again, this happened this morning in Shachris. During Shir Shel Yom, this nigun came down and messed me up again for the rest of Shachris. And now I'm trying to remember it. This is it. Just listen to it one time. Listen to the notes one time, okay? I da da da, I da da da, I da da da, do 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 do, da da da, I da da da, I da da da, I da da. I da da dam, I da da dam, I da da da, I da da do, I da da dam, I da da dam, I da da da, I da da again, I da da dam, I da da dam, I da 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 da. Bum Let it be a little bit my nigga, just one time, okay? Please, Mamash, Rahmanis, listen one time, like, you have no idea, that's like murder, please. One time, listen, every note, okay? Please. I da da dam, I da da dam, I da da da, da 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 dam, I da da dam, I da da dam, I da da dam, I try with me. I da da dam, I da da dam, I da da da, da 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 da, I da da da, I da da da, I bum 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 bum, I da 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 da, I da 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 da, I Good morning, everybody. A good Erev Shabbos to everybody. How come we didn't say Tachanun today?
Because we had a Noel here who's doing the verse.
Oh, okay. Baruch Hashem, Simchas.
And he comes in a white shirt, so that's...
Right. That was like a, I don't know, like Isru Chag Tu B'Shvat or something. I don't know. Month of Shvat, we're learning the whole month of Shvat. L'ilui Nishmas, Shimon ben Moshe, and Tzvi ben Mordechai. And the Shabbos is the Yortzeit of someone who's very, very, very dear to me and my family. Shira Rachma Basarav Alter Nasser Nata, that's Nate's daughter, Joni's sister, Moshe Pollack's sister-in-law. Tenish Matzah Tzra Chaim. And also for Zivug, for Daniela Chana Basara Libi, and the whole week is sponsored in memory of Shlomit Weinreb's brother, David Koffler. I want to just recommend everyone to take a listen. I saw that, I think it was Yechiel Johnny Stein posted the link to last night's event. There's one thing you should listen to and take it in deeply, because it really touched my heart, and that's the words that Rav Judah Michel said last night. It's about 10 minutes, and it was everything you would have wanted to be said at an event like this. Like Mamash, Rav Judah said last night, literally just 10 minutes of it. Like, find it on that link. It's like, I don't know, like maybe 40 minutes into the event, because I'll try to paste, give you the exact timing, but definitely it was, for me, a big psichas halev. Big psichas halev. Didn't feel like anything needed to be, like, mamash, mic drop, everything could have ended there, and it was very, very chazak. So take a listen to that. I'll try to send it out. So just, okay, we're looking for anything that could pick us up these days, and I feel like it was so right on. All right, so for the Chevra that have this farm, it's Daf Reish Mem. I have copies here for those that don't have, and we're going to be learning something today from Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter that's very much, it's a Davar Klali. It's not exactly about Shabbos, but it's something that it very much shaykh to Shaleshudes specifically, and I'll try to explain a little bit why. Everyone knows that Shaleshudes is the Zman of Histalkus of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was mistalik at Shaleshudes. And Moshe Rabbeinu, we're Baruch Hashem, we're in the parshas where Moshe Rabbeinu is in begalui in every single parsha. And there's something, there's a moment of hiskashrus that can happen to each person at Shaleshudes. And I'm saying this in front of everyone, and VAD members and everything, I really want us to start at least once a month doing Shaleshudes, and sure, I just need help. Chevra saying, like, B'mash, it's so chashuv. It's so chashuv. So, Ashrecha, who's sponsoring the second one?
Me.
There, wow. Okay. Gates are open. Who's sponsoring the third Shaleshudes? Wow. Okay.
We got the next 3 months.
Who's finishing the building?
No? No?
We're finishing the building.
We're finishing the building. Shaleshudes. Okay, beautiful. 1, 2, 3. At least the Yafi Chazaka. Now Bezat Hashem will continue going strong. Open up the Daf Reish Mem, please, over here. This he labels as Kavana b'mitzvah Achila Seudah Shlishit. This is a beautiful piece where we're going to be covering a lot over here, but it's also we're going to be covering a yesod. Chassidim, we all know, before mitzvahs and brachas, it's always l'shem yichud, by B'hinayam Hashem Elokeinu. There's always a preparation before you do it, and in Breslov, it's even like the real, like mamish, stark Breslovers. They say basically, Hareini Mekasher Atzmi, right? They connect themselves to all the Tzaddikim Amitim Shebedereinu, וכל הצדיקים האמיתיים שוכני עפר, קדושים ואשר בארץ המה, ובפרט לרבנו רב נחמן בן פגה, צדיק יסוד אילם, זכוס יגן עלינו. They מקשר themselves to the neshama of Rabbi Nachman before they do every bracha, mamash. Where is this coming from? Where is this whole Inyan coming from? So, it's not a Chassidish chiddush. You have to understand this. The Torah tells us, throughout the life of Moshe Rabbeinu, we always have to be thinking about him for a certain reason. He's got to be part of our thoughts all the time. The Tzadik, the Goel, the Redeemer. And here we're going to get a little bit of an understanding as to how this works and why it's like this. But in order to do this, we're going to be jumping a few parshiyos ahead. Parshas Truman Tetzaveh, we're going to see something very special. B'Sefer Baal Shem Tov al Torah. Maybe Merav HaKadosh Bala told us, that means it's Torah that's brought down from the Rebbe from Polnoi, the Todos Yaakov Yosef. Todos Yaakov Yosef was the first one to actually get the Baal Shem Tov's writings into print. It's the first Chassidish Sefer, where had a lot of Chidushim of the Baal Shem Tov. Shamati Mimori Rabbi, throughout the whole Sefer. I heard from my teacher, my Rebbe, quoting the Baal Shem Tov. So there it says like this, Nemar Biprotus. B'chol ma'aseh u'ma'aseh she'asu Mishkan v'kelim. It says Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe. Every single time something was done, it always ends off by saying, this is like Hashem commanded Moshe Rabbeinu. Kasher Tziva es Moshe. The kasher. The question comes up. Lama lo lifrot b'chol echad ve'echad? Havele le'meimar ba'achrona derech klal v'yasu Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe. The question is, why do you have to detail after every single item that gets prepared and fixed, Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe? Why can't you just say at the end, Vaya'asu Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe? That you sum it all up and you're like, by the way, this whole list was done like the way Hashem commanded Moshe Rabbeinu. Why are you going so much into details for every single thing? There's a lot to say about this. Ela haTorah ramza lanu, remez musar bichlolus avodas Hashem v'asiyas hamitzvos. But there's something bigger going on here regarding the way I approach all of my avodas Hashem and how I do mitzvahs. Hein Shabbos, Shofar, Sukkah, Pesach, Tefillin, all the mitzvahs. V'chayotze. Sheyesh b'chol achas uvda, umilula, ureusa. Shehi ha-machshava, v'chavanas ha-mitzvah, v'atfila hiraba, v'noira. In every single mitzvah, there's an action, there's a dibur, there's a word, there's a speech, there's words, and there's ratzon. And he says ratzon over here is machshava. So, okay. The Alter Rebbe told us, based on the Arizal, that every single inyan in life has machshava, dibur, u'maaseh. Machshava, dibur, u'maaseh, thought, speech, and action are the three garments of the souls. It's the way the soul can express itself in this world, right? Machshava, dibur, u'maaseh. He says this is true, but every single mitzvah has this. And the kavanah and the mitzvah and the tefillah, these are all big, big things. These are very high levels. Like we all just took off our tefillin. There was a machshava, hopefully. Hopefully there was a machshava before we put on those phylacteries, those boxes. There was a machshava. There was a dibur, right? We spoke it, right? And there was a maaseh. What was the maaseh? The actual putting it on, right? So this is like with every single mitzvah, we have these areas. Ki achen, kol od en ha'adam mushlam b'chol ha'taryag mitzvahs. As long as a person is not complete with all the 613 mitzvahs, gam im yesh lo emuna b'Hashem yisbarach, you could believe in God, aval adayin chaser lo b'shleimus, but the shleimus, like doing it fully, feeling like I did the whole thing. I did it. I was mamish yotze. Like I did all aspects of the mitzvah. Even if you could believe in the Rabbanu Shleim, it doesn't mean you're doing it fully. Emunas Tzaddikim. And you can't always get to the Emunah of the Tzadik. How do I know? How could I say that I did the full? Let's take three aspects. Machshava, dibur, and maaseh. On the level of maaseh, can I say that I did it completely? Yes. Hopefully. If I do it right, and it's kosher. On the level of dibur, same. On the level of machshava,
that's the tricky one.
Machshava, you can't ever really know that my full intention and the way that what I put into, the kavanah and the ratzon, that I did it b'shleimus. Can't really know that. It's like this open area, and it's, in a weird way, kind of supposed to be like that. It's like open ending. It's like you're leaving room for something. Because if a person felt that they did everything b'shleimus, they'd probably end up being a shtickl ba'alei gaiva. Look at me. I know how to do this whole thing perfectly. I got this down. Just look at me. I got it down. It's like an open end. It's very interesting. Ilazos, since this is like this, adarabah. Kasher ha'adam mitpalel lelo hiskashrus latzadikim. When I'm davening without hiskashrus latzadikim, without connection to the tzadikim, azai hatfila eina ela lefi madregaso velo yoseh mikach. How high is your davening? It's just leaning on the extent of where you're at. Ve'ilu kasher yekasher es tfilaso letzadik Tia tfilaso ke'en tfilas Tzadik uchfi madregaso hanale. This is like torture for Litvaks to learn to learn this. No, because this is like when you're learning it from the outside. This sounds like exactly why the Grov put a cherem on Chassidus, right? Because what did he just say over here? What did he say over here? He's like, if you're not doing his kashrus to tzaddikim, then you're not really able to do the mitzvah b'shleimus. Now, when you're reading it on the outside, what do you feel like saying? Say it.
Davening to the tzaddik.
You're davening to the tzaddik. Aren't you supposed to be kasher to Hashem? Bemet? So it's only one that's on the outside of things can ever say such a thing. What's the pnimius of it? The pnimius of it is that we're saying that the tzaddik, his world, his kavanas, his Torahs, his kashrus to the tzaddik, it doesn't, he's saying over here, it's as if, like the way he ended it off here is, ke'ein tfilas tzaddik, meaning, I'm connecting myself to the best of my ability to the energy and the light that the tzaddik brought down into the world, and through that his kashrus, somehow, they are able to help me mashlim my kavana. Which is still hard to understand.
Isn't that the first paragraph of Shmona Esrei anyway?
How?
Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov. Are we supposed to be connected to what Hashem?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, why mention them? Why mention them, Michal? I'm talking to you. Why mention them? It's a beautiful way of understanding it.
The L'Shem Yichud before the Tefillah.
Nachon.
It's Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, for Shahid and Chanavit, right? So,
But there we're
Nachon.
the reason we mentioned them is we're clarifying which Hashem we're talking about, and that's why even Chumash and Torah said we're clarifying, making sure.
Nachon. So it's a little bit different, but you can understand it that way too. Emmanuel, you wanted to say something? Tzaddikim, Chasidim, yeah. Lo chaser, listen. Lo chaser mekomot, and especially this Shabbos. Okay, if there was ever a Shabbos to understand the headquarters of Emunas Tzaddikim, Ve'yaminu b'Hashem. What do you mean? They have lo maspik lamin b'Hashem? Lo maspik? Ve'yaminu b'Hashem uve'Moshe avdo. What does that mean? They believed in Moshe Rabbeinu. They had Hashem. They believed that the way that Moshe Rabbeinu served the Ribono Shel Olam was all inclusive, and he had everyone in mind. And he knew they had a shepherd that was loving them ad blidai, and that he had space in his heart for each and every one, and that that person that loved them so much, was as much as love as he had for them. It had no separation between the love that he had for the Ribono Shel Olam. That's such a beautiful thing to have a tzaddik where you feel like it's the Moshe Avdai. Like, I have belief that this tzaddik that is so one with Hashem won't go into the Kodesh Kodashim without carrying me in his heart. Like Aaron HaKohen says, V'nasa Aharon et Shmot Ben Yisrael al libo. It says when he went into the Kodesh, that he carried the names of Yidden on his heart. Where did he do that? B'va'ol HaKodesh, when he went into the Kodesh. This is a little bit of like basic yesodot of us understanding what it means to have iskashus letzadikim. He's saying on your own, Rabbi Meir Shechta is basically saying in the name of the Toldos, like if you're like, no, it's just me and Hashem, so he's basically saying, good luck, Atzlacha, it'll be the highest. But not really. Like there's always, it's dafka set up in a way that there's this place that I know a level of machshava / ratzon, where there's this gap, but that's supposed to be like that. It's almost like what he's saying over here. It's supposed to be like that, and that helps us understand one aspect of what it means. Emunas Tzaddikim and Iskashus leTzaddikim, and really our parsha couldn't have been a better place to learn Torah like this. I didn't plan it like this because the truth is, this was planned for last Shabbos. I was going to do it on Friday. I couldn't give shir last Friday, but we wanted it to learn it on the Shabbos, where it says, V'yaminu b'Hashem v'Moshe avdo. Now again, the moment that you start davening to Moshe Rabbeinu is the moment that you didn't understand what the Baal Shem Tov was talking about. And when we go to the Ukraine, it feels like 35 years ago, but when we used to go to the Ukraine, we would have Hachana Shiurim before we went, and even when we got there, before we went to whatever first grave we went to, speaking about what is the inyan of the avodah of the tefillah by the kever of a tzaddik. I have to find those shiurim. They were very, very mechuvan to help us understand what are we even doing over here, and why do some people, when they're looking at it on the outside, feel that this stuff is Avodah Zarah. On the outside. Nachon.
Reb, can I share one tiny little thing? I heard yesterday in Rabbi Malchus's house, and his son said the sea, it didn't split for the Moshe, it didn't split for Aaron, it didn't split for the Jewish people. What does it say? When did the sea split? When it saw what? The bones
The Tzadik.
of the Tzadik. So his Chiddush is Kever Tzaddikim. Look, even the sea split, when it saw the bones, he said a dead person. That's when the sea split. From the bones of the...
Chazak. Okay, let's go back inside. Lechach. We're 6 lines from the bottom. Lechach eitza yeutza lichlol es atzmo v'chavanasa. So the eitza is to lichlol es atzmo means like to gather yourself, include yourself, put yourself inside with your kavana, whether it's with tefillah or with a mitzvah. O b'chavanas achilosa b'chol, or the way that you eat during the week. Or kol sheken b'Shabbos, and especially when you're eating on Shabbos, b'shalosh Seudas the Shabbos, on the third meal specifically on Shabbos, which is the time that Moshe Rabbeinu was nistalik l'gin zemenomim, yashis kavanasa im shar shleimei emuna Yisrael hayoidin chavanas atfila hamitzvah, v'alsod kavanas anshe knesses hagdola v'chayotza b'zeh. We say a beautiful thing. He said, when you're going to do something, have in mind right now that there were people that set up shop for Am Yisrael to do things properly. They knew exactly what they were speaking about and what the kavanas were, and have that in mind while you're doing what you're doing. It doesn't mean you understand it perfectly, but it means that if you invite that consciousness of these tzaddikim, Bifrat Moshe Rabbeinu, at Shaleshudes, the places even that you don't understand consciously, subconsciously, something is going inside at that moment. Because Emunas Tzaddikim means he had me in mind. He thought of me. You see, when I daven, or put it like this, when I learn halacha, part of the pnimius of learning halacha is not just knowing what they said, but to believe be'emunah shlema, they thought of me. One time, I have this interview where Rav Shlomo was challenged by someone from a more new age chevra that was saying to him, don't you think it's time we change up the tefillah? Don't you think that's what they would want? They would have wanted for us to change things up and add certain words, take out certain words. Or he says, don't you think it's time? He said, brother, you don't think that it's crystal clear to me that those that were Masader, the brachas and the Shemona Esrei, were thinking about you and me today, right now, till Mashiach's coming? If that's not the way you're going into davening, it's a bad scene. It's a bad scene. They had each and every one of us in mind. They were koilo. The das was complete by them with the kavanah of how they set up shop. I don't understand all of it, maybe nearly none of it on the level of machshava. The little bit that I do, but if I invite them and I machlil myself and I say I'm a talmid of so and so, this is my derech, this is my emunah. I have emunas tzaddikim, not emunah bat tzaddikim. I have emunas tzaddikim that they knew and thought about me. Then I'm able somehow to do a hashlama, to do the mitzvah b'shleimus, to do it fully. And there's an inyan to really focus on this always, but to put extra emphasis at the time that Moshe Rabbeinu was like his tafkid in this world became completely shalem. When is that? Shaleshudes. And that's why Shaleshudes is called, what's it called? Rava de Ravin, which means which means the completion of the world of Kavana. That's Rava de Ravin. The completion of the world of Kavana. It's an Eis Ratzon big time to open our hearts and miskasher to the level of machshava beneath and within every single mitzvah and bracha that we say and that we do.
We make Kiddush, we mention Moshe, right? Moshe, there's a whole Kiddush for Torah that mentions Moshe Rabbeinu.
During the meal, yeah.
During the meal, not before.
Right.
Yeah. Most of you don't know what he was talking about, but by Chassidim, they have this. Yeah, and hopefully we'll do it as well.
Could you please just elaborate a little bit more where you draw the line between connecting to the Tzadik and connecting to Hashem?
Where does it get blurry to you?
I don't know. Kind of in the beginning of just connecting to the Tzadik, it's how to view him as a means to connecting to Hashem and not just stopping at the Tzadik. Because in the end, you're still thinking connected to the Tzadik,
So already that itself is.
We did a whole shir on this based on Rav Erez Moshe Doron addressing that exact question. I'm gonna send it to you because it's a big sugya. It's not a one-liner, but and he addresses it in his own, that beautiful, just pashut way of his words. I'm gonna dig it up, B'ezrat Hashem, and I'm gonna get it to you. Because one year, right before we got to Uman, we were sitting in the Orot Hotel over there. I think you were there. No, I don't think you were on that trip. Or I'm just trying to make you feel good by not embarrassing you that you don't remember what we learned. No, I'm kidding. And we sat down there in the hotel, and then we right before, because listen, by all the tzaddikim, this energy is around there. By Reb Nachman, this type of talk is like everything. It's almost like it's too much. It really, without strong achanas, this kind of talk, for me, it's just way too much. It's just way out of control. It's way out of control without any seder. It's way out of control. I used to have this shtick. I stopped doing it, but I used to, whenever anyone came back from Uman, I was like, how's Hashem doing? That was my first question. Mechila, if that hurt anybody, but I said, how's Ribbon Shleilim? Because you can get too absorbed, and you could, at a certain point, forget. You really could. You really could. It's a big Indian. But it's not the emes. That's not the emes. So I used to say this, and it was like, I got into some some of the conversations didn't end so pleasantly, so I figured, whatever, everyone in Hashem is taking care of the whole world, and you don't have to be this instigator of, ask yourself how Hashem is doing. Don't ask other people how Hashem is doing. But you understand what I was asking, yeah? Vehine, Asiyas HaMishkan, now he's going back to how he started. Vehine Asiyas HaMishkan Esa Kavana, Shetehei Machshavtan Al Meleches HaMishkan HaElyon. When he instructed, who did he instruct? Who built the Mishkan? And every single Yid gave something as well. So the ones that constructed the Mishkan had an avodah to take what was brought in and put it together. And of course, Betzalel, we know, is a key figure over here. So he says, when the Mishkan was instructed, obviously the kavanah was that whatever the Mishkan in Shamayim looks like, with the kavanahs that they wanted it to be, that's what it should look like. Ki kasher banu kan lemata et hamishkan, be'ota sha'a banu gam et hamishkan ha'elyon, והוצרכו לכוון כוונות נעלות של הערות אלוקוס בספירס המלכוס. I'm not going to get too much into that right now. But basically what was happening is that at the moment that the Mishkan was being constructed down here, there was a Mishkan, the Lamala, also being constructed, and it had to match each other. It had to match each other. Chmoshe Nemar, and then what does it say about the Mishkan? Does it say Hekimu et HaMishkan? No. What does it say? Hukam HaMishkan. It's such a diuk. What's the difference between Hekimu et HaMishkan or Hukam HaMishkan?
They built it, and it was built.
Does that happen on its own? It's like when I asked you that question about Masechet Megillah, right? Megillah Nikret.
Yeah, nachon. Very good. No, Megillah Korim. No, Megillah Nikret. Very good, Yosef. You hear what he said? It's the same thing. I'll explain to you. If you said that we did the Mishkan, and it was really based on all of our machshavas, the best that we could do, we would say, Hekimu et HaMishkan. But the Torah says, Hukam HaMishkan. That means they were connecting it to a much higher place. It was kind of erected from above. So what's that? Pu'al. Very good. Pu'al. So, you just gave me like a lot of... I remember when I moved here, I was in 4th grade, and then in 5th grade, they started saying this stuff that freaked the daylights out of me, and I'm looking around, what does this mean to you, to this? I was asking Israeli chevra, he's like, any musag on my head. So Yosef is saying, the same thing with Megillah, is like, can you say you have the full kavanah to understand what Megillah's Esther is all about? So that's why when the Gemara, the Mishnah says Megillah Nikret, meaning the Megillah
was read.
It's read.
Is being read, right. And not we read the Megillah. It's the same Indian. Because who could say, I know all the kavanahs that are in each letter in Megillas Esther, right? V'darshu betanchuma. Then the Midrash says like this: Ki be'hakamas hamishkan lemata, hu kam lemala. And that's how the Midrash, that concept of there's a Mishkan happening up there, it's not stam his chiddush. This is based on the Midrash. V'hainu al yedei hamachshava v'akavana she'asu ba'evarim haniglim lemata bagashmi u'machshavtan beruchni haya livnas Mishkan ha'elyon she'u sod brias shamayim v'aretz v'chol ha'alamas. In a nutshell, whenever you learn deep in Parshas Truma, there's a whole mahalach as you learn Parshas Truma that explains to you that B'Tzalel, what does it mean that what do you think he was a smart architect? Like he had a good, you think that's what it was? He had this niche for being a smart architect, good builder. It's mashu acher legamre. It says that the way that the Mishkan was built was al pi tavnis yitziras ha'olam kulei. That's what it says in this farm, B'Tzel Kel. That he had in Chacham Lev, like he was basically working on the blueprint of the whole world, of the creation of the whole world, and the Mishkan. And there's a lot of Torahs that I think that Reb Chaim Vital, there's a lot of Torahs that describe that the construction of the Mishkan was the construction of the way the Rebbeinu Shalom created the whole world. Who could say that they could build a building, b'shleimus, in this world that matches the kavanas of Bria Sa'aylam? Chacham Lev can. B'Tzalel can. And there's reasons why we'll get there. Why Dafka B'Tzalel? Ki kol matras Bria Sa'aylam ha'isa she'sfiras ha'malchus tiye b'shleimus v'toira la'aylam she'iskayim ve'aretz he'ira michvayde. The whole purpose of building the Mishkan was that the sphere of Malchut, okay, in just for the sake of this year, what would the sphere of Malchut mean over here? In this year, what would it mean? That the sphere of Malchus is shining completely in the world, that there'd be a place that it'd be clear to everyone that Hashem is Melech al Kol HaOlam. Are we building, whatever, I'm now going into Monday and Wednesday shiurim, but the question is, are we building Eretz Yisrael with the sphere of Malchus? Not yet. Adayin lo. V'lav kol mocha savilda. But not every brain is able to do such a thing, to work on this level. Lachen. We're ending here. B'chol pe'ula shel klei Mishkan. Therefore, with every single action when it came to the vessels that were built in the Mishkan, amru b'feirush she'anu osin ala kavana she'tziva Hashem es Moshe. At every stage, it was so important to invite the consciousness of hiskashrus tzaddikim when they came to constructing the Mishkan. And Gaiva never got to a person. There was no room for a person to say, I got this, I figured it out. You can't build the Mishkan like that. You cannot build the Mishkan ever relying on saying, I think, yeah, davar mitoch davar, kalatati et zeh. There was always kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe at every single stage of building the Mishkan. Hainu, be'osa kavana. The same kavana each time, the kavana with which Moshe Rabbeinu was manig the world, manig his Eda, and connecting to Hashem, lasos nachas ruach lemala be'osa kavana. To bring nachas ruach above with that same kind of kavana. So that I wish I could say that every time I make a bracha, I'm feeling like I'm bringing nachas ruach to Hashem by the way that I'm eating. Do you know what would happen? I'd barely be able to take a bite of anything. If I really did this every single time I did something, and in my mind I'm like kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe, it's almost like it changes the experience of what you're about to do. You'd
never forget bracha achrona.
You'd never forget bracha achrona. It would just be a different like shtem. It would just, things would flow differently here.
It can also be in your work as well.
Of course, betach.
Some your work. Any tikkunim in the world.
Anything in the world, everything. V'atikunim ha'elyonim yusa be'osa kavana. It doesn't mean here that you're going to have access, that you're going to understand the tikkun elyon in each bracha and not bracha. But it means that when you include yourself in the Emunas Tzaddikim, hiskashrus tzaddikim, just by doing that, the real tikkunim elyonim and the kavanos elyonos are mitztaref to your asiyas mitzvah on the level of machshava. והלב והנפש יהיו בעושה כוונה על דעס ועל המחשבה, כאשר ציווה השם את משה. והוא על דרך שאנו אומרים, קודם עשיית כל מצווה, והיא נוים וכדומה ולשם ייחוד. And he says, and that's why, like what we do, is every time we do a mitzvah or a bracha, we say these words. Again, why are we saying these words? It's like the anava button, like I would say right now. It's mamash, it's like twofold. One of it is the anava button saying, hey, I know I could only get this far. I'm going to give it my shot. But I also know that I'm not like, banking on Moshe Rabbeinu to mashlim it. But I see that if the Torah says that every time they built something in the Mishkan, they wrote Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe, I have to do that as well with whatever. I'm constantly in mode of building myself, building my world, building something. I always have to do this. Now, a person can walk out of this year and like not know how to deal with the world or reality. But what we're trying to say is right now, start in one place. What's the one place we start with this kind of avodas Hashem? Shaleshudes. He's dafka bringing this Torah at, you see, Zmiros l'Shabbos Kodesh. He's by Shaleshudes. Because what Shaleshudes is called, it's the headquarters of Ratzon, Rava de Ravin. It's the time Moshe Rabbeinu was mistalik. It's the time that he departs from this world. His shleimus of his avodah in this world is finished. That means it's an eis Ratzon. That's why by Mincha, as opposed to Shachris, Mincha and Shabbos, what do we say when we open the Aron Kodesh? Vanis filosi lecha Hashem eis Ratzon. We don't say that in the morning. We say by Mincha, close to the time of eis Ratzon. Eis Ratzon. That's dafka why we say it over there. We say it there by Mincha. Why? When else do we say Vanit filosi lecha Hashem eis Ratzon? Shalosh Regalim. When we open up the Aron. And what do we do right before the Vanis Filosi L'cha Hashem Eis Ratzon? Yud Gimel Midos Rachmim. Stomeret, an Eis Ratzon is when the gates are open. That's basically what it means. It's zmanim that the gates are open. Shaleshudes, Rava de Ravin, is a time that the gates are open. And I know that many Chevra here didn't grow up with Shaleshudes. It's just not, it wasn't one of the inyanim. It just wasn't. But I'm very, 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 very makpid on it. I'm very big on it. And I just want us to, and Be'ez Hashem, we already have three Shaleshudes taken care of.
Put it out to the VOD. We'll figure out the time. We had talked about previously doing it on every Shabbos Mevorachim, so maybe
we'll figure it out. That's not the problem. I just want to no. What we're yes, we're going to start this week.
I knew what he meant.
Yes. We're starting this Shabbos. We're starting this Shabbos at that moment of just say the words Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe one time. Before you start well, first you have to do it, Shaleshudes, and then just say one time, Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe, and then you really invite Hashem and daven at that moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, throughout the week. May the way that I do mitzvahs, if I'm going to do it anyway, I may as well do it as best as I can. So on the Dibur and Machshava level, Dibur and the Ma'aseh level, maybe I got it down pretty good, but on the Machshava level, I always know it's endless. It's endless. Hopefully, if I hold on to Moshe Rabbeinu, that Eis Ratzon will be at the Zman that I can then go into the week and I can say, Hine kel yishuasi eftach v'lo efchad. Why am I not going to be scared? Because at Shaleshudes, what did I do? I went for it. I went to the headquarters of humility, realizing how much I need das tzaddikim in my life to guide me in the right way. I was talking to my brother yesterday. He was saying he feels, the sense that he gets is that since most of our hashpah on the matzav is generated from finding out from news outlets what's going on, that's so much shpia on the way we think of the matzav as well. The matzav that we're in right now. But imagine if most of our input regarding the matzav right now was really generated from das tzaddikim, how we would approach and look at this man that we're in. So that's a big thing. And I give us all a bracha to tune out a little bit of the way we've been updated. I don't think it's done very good for a lot of people at all. And hopefully by the input that, the updates, the real updates about the matzav, we should receive more al das tzaddikim. Good Shabbos, everyone.